everyone, welcome again to Covenant House. I think we're going to start by doing some quick introductions about what we do for Covenant House, and then open it up to questions, and feel free to ask anything about our programs or anything like that you guys are curious about. So I'll kick it off. My name is Jillian Robinson. I have been with Covenant House for 4 years. Moved here to Covenant House, California about a year ago. Prior to that, I worked for the Cub in Atlanta, Georgia. And my role is fundraising. So I'm one of our development officers, helping out with our special events, working with some of our individual and corporate donors to keep the lights on and the doors open for youth experiencing homelessness. And wanted to open it up too, just to kind of share a little bit about what our driving philosophy is. And at Covenant House, we do this work because we believe that no young person deserves to be homeless, that every young person deserves food and clothing and shelter, and most importantly, to be loved. And we believe it's our responsibility as a community to make sure that youth experiencing homelessness have the opportunity to achieve their dreams. So just want to thank you all again for being part of this and for helping our young people and advocating for them and on their behalf.
Hi everybody, my name is Laura. I have been at Cub for about 3.5 years. I've always worked at this Cub. I originally am from New York, and I moved to California about 4 years ago. A little bit more than that. I'm the program coordinator for our career center right in this building, so I oversee all of our education and employment programs for our youth so that we can get them back into school, get them jobs, get them work ready, do all that fun stuff.
That's on me, huh? So my name's Anthony Conley. I'm the community involvement coordinator. So what that entails is I work with volunteers. I work closely with the development team as far as doing service days. I'll help organize that and doing all the wonderful events that we do on campus. Also, another big task is working with donations. So we get donations every week. So we sit there and we have to go through them, do gift and kind receipts, and make sure that that goes to the Covenant House, because that's important. That also helps us with our bottom line costs of how we operate the shelters. So that's kind of the sense of what I do. So I'm a little bit programming, a little bit development. I'm right in the middle, but I love it.
Any questions, you guys?
I have a question about how many locations that you all have available for these type of opportunities.
Yeah, so Covenant House, California has 4 campuses. We have this one here in Los Angeles, and then we have 3 in the Bay Area. But then across the country and across North America, actually, Covenant House International has over 31 sites. So we're in the US, Canada, and Latin America as well.
How well does the community know about the Covenant House?
So the Covenant House has been around for about, 30 years? And there's still a tremendous amount of opportunity for people to know about us. I think youth homelessness hasn't been on the radar as much as it should have, but it's getting there. I think we have a great team now. We have a great CEO, and we're focusing on expanding that, and that's why opening more beds and getting into different cities is so important. So it's getting there, but I think it should be a little bit more aware of within the community.
And just to give you guys an idea of the scope of youth homelessness in Los Angeles, there are over 6,000 young people on the streets any given night or without a stable place to sleep any given night. So it's not a homeless population that's necessarily as visible as some of the others, but it's so important that we intervene when these young people are 18 to 24, help them get jobs, and get on a path to stability and success.
You talked about how the Covenant House uses a holistic and unique approach that's been really effective. Can you talk a little bit more about the creative strategies and what actually that holistic approach entails that makes it so successful?
Sure, I can talk a little bit about our residential programs, but then Laura probably can speak better to the all the other wraparound services too. So we know that it takes more than a bed and a meal to help a young person transition from homelessness to independence ultimately. So we operate a couple of different residential programs, including our Safe Haven shelter, which is roughly a 30 to 90 day program, and then we have a 2-year independent living program as well that we call Rites of Passage. So we do offer those kind of basic services, but like you mentioned, we know that it takes lots of wraparound support for our young people to really move into independence. So that's part of a good bit of what Laura does.
Yeah, so a lot of what we do actually here is try to do everything on site, try to keep everything under our roof. So our career center, we have employment specialists that'll help our youth apply to jobs, work on their resume, practice interviews, get work ready, anything that entails, anything and everything really, or to get back into school. So we try to do that right in house with familiar faces. So if youth are really uncomfortable and really nervous to meet new people, we try to do it here with somebody that they see every single day. We also have a health clinic. We have mental health services on site. Like Jillian mentioned, we have 3 meals a day for them. We kind of try to do everything and anything and everything we can on site just to make sure that they get to whatever their next step is. So if they see me every single day, they might be more comfortable asking me for help with whatever it is. I often end up not even helping them with employment or education stuff. It might just be life stuff. So we try to do everything we can here to get them to a little bit more of a stable place so that they can move on to that next step. Yeah.
So how can people on the outside help the Covenant House and the residents that you all support?
One of the philosophies I was sharing earlier that it's really simple is just to come hang out, right? To allow these young people to be seen. So you don't have to come in and say, I want to do a resume workshop immediately, but how about say I want to come in and just watch TV with you? That's what I think we do great, is opening up our doors to the community and just trying to provide a space for love. So when you wake up every day and you have the intention to look good, but you should wake up every day wanting to do good. And it's so simple, it's not that complicated. And I think that's what the community can do, is just come in and hang out and just be human to human interaction. And that can help uplift the youth so much.
Because the youth, like I always tell people, the youth know that the staff care about them, but it's a whole other level when they see community members come in and donate their time, or if they're so inclined, they can donate money to Covenant House to make sure that we can keep our programs going. They can donate items. We are always in need of in-kind donations, so that's something that Anthony, really coordinates and does a great job of, is making sure that we've got 100 toothbrushes, 100 tubes of toothpaste, soap, shampoo, all of those kind of basic necessities, underwear, socks, all of those sorts of basic things. So that's another way that we really rely on the community to make sure that any money that does get donated, we want to put that directly to serving the youth. And so if we can have community members come and donate physical items that are going to help our young people, that always helps out with our budget as well. And then we have tons of special events and things like that throughout the year too. If people do want to donate or help us raise money, raise awareness, there's so many avenues for people to get involved.
So with so many youth experiencing homelessness, especially in the United States and specifically in California, is there any requirements or criteria you may have in order to enroll any students, or are there any restrictions that you have due to funding?
Here, not really. Honestly, we kind of serve anybody and everybody that comes through our doors. We have a charter school actually even on site, and any youth that comes in, they can get a shower if they need it, if they don't have a safe place to stay, but they're still wanting to go to school. We want to encourage them so they can come here, they can get food, they can get water, basic necessities while they're in school. And we can also have them meet with outreach to try and get some more resources, but we really don't have many requirements. If you need to be here, you need to be here, pretty much is how we kind of see it. And like kind of going back to your question from before, I think a lot of what anybody and everybody can do is talking to other people about how this is a problem. I think it's a really hidden problem, and although a lot of people are talking about it now, just talking to people in your life, like, did you know that there are 6,000 young people my age sleeping on a sidewalk tonight? Did you know that? Even my family is shocked to hear when I talk to them about things like that. It almost feels like that can't possibly be happening, but it is, and it's actually a problem that's growing. So I think that opening our doors to everybody, because if you need to be here, you need to be here. That's really like what we can do.
So obviously, like you've said, you open your doors to everybody, but I think that there's also a lot of different nuances and needs of the different groups, say victims of human trafficking or LGBT community members or people of different faiths. So how do you guys approach the different needs and circumstances of everyone?
Oh, wow.
Well,
You can answer.
I mean, what we're open away with our human trafficking people is that we have like a Genesis room, right? So when you get here, we go on the streets about 2 times a month. And when we make those contacts and somebody reaches out to us and say, okay, they want to evade or leave their situation, we have a room that they can go to, they can be comfortable, it's all by themselves, and they have opportunity, to just relax and to have a safe space. So that's one, simple thing we can do, just provide a space for that. And then also trainings. I think that's something we do great here too, is a lot of people aren't trained right on how to deal with different populations. So that's something we do every month, is have different trainings on how we deal with all populations. That really helps guide us and helps us love people better that come here.
Yeah.
And I think another part of that too is that every young person works individually with a case manager. And so every young person almost immediately gets paired up with someone that's going to talk them through, where they're coming from, what their long-term goals are, and what are all of the services that either Covenant House offers or what services are in the community that we can use to help that young person work toward their long-term goals. So I think case management is something that's really important. And the nice thing about Covenant House is that we keep the caseloads really, as small as we can. So every case manager is only working with, 15 or so young people, so they have the time to meet with them on a regular basis and really invest the time to, kind of coach them through. Because as you guys saw on the tour, Covenant House does a lot. We have a lot of services on our campus, and then there's so many resources in the community, and so that's really overwhelming if you're 18. I forgot to mention this, but about 50% of our youth are exiting the foster care system. And so if you've never necessarily had a safe place, a stable place to live growing up, then you're not going to know how to navigate the resources that are out in the community. So case managers play a really important kind of mentorship role with our youth too. So they can tell them about our LGBT support groups and make sure that they're attending those if they so choose, tell them about our mental health services, make sure that they're following up with their medical clinic appointments and things like that too.
I have two questions. One is we talk a lot on the council about the power of community and how does community play a role here at Covenant House. And then the second is with all of the different case management and all of the things that you do you only serve the people that are sleeping here, or do you offer your resources and open it up even if you can't house the people?
That's a great question. I love the first question that you asked, by the way. I think that you can kind of get a sense of community at Cov by just kind of walking around and meeting some of our young people. They all support each other a lot. There's 100 youth here that don't know each other. And more often than not, they're helping each other with resources, with anything that they can possibly help each other with. They're trying to lift each other up out of the situation, which is really beautiful. And I think that all of the young people here see all of the staff, regardless of who they are, as a mentor. Like I mentioned before, I don't always end up talking to youth about employment and education. Sometimes it's a relationship problem, a life problem, anything. But I think you get a good sense of community, and I really think that the people that work here genuinely love our youth, and they can tell because they come back and visit. We had youth that have lived here years and years and years ago will come back with their children, or will just stop by to say hello and see who's still working here, see if they recognize any familiar faces, just because it feels like a place that was home to them once. They'll come back for our big community events. And I really think that a lot of that comes down to the general feeling that you get when you're here. It feels comfortable, it feels nice, it feels like everybody gets along, the staff are all really, everybody works really well together, and the youth can see that, and I think they enjoy being here. It's a shelter. We try to make it as warm and loving as possible, and like I said, I think that they get a sense of the community that's here, and they take pride in living here. Just last week we had a community cleanup, and we had 35 youth that came out to just help us clean up garbage around the facility. That's not necessarily fun, but they take pride in their home where they live. So I think that it really I am very proud of how nice it feels to just be here, and I think that anybody that comes in, our visitors or whoever it may be, also can feel that when they're here.
And I think it's been amazing that you guys you stress the idea of being proud of this place, because there is that stigma around shelters for homeless youth and homeless people, where it seems to be something that's not really spoken about or almost frowned upon by some people in society. But this is clearly a wonderful place that has a strong sense of community, and it's something that people can be proud to say they've been a part of.
You mentioned that there's a population of about 6,000 homeless youth in Los Angeles alone. How do you make sure that really large population of young people that are experiencing homelessness know that there is that there are resources and there are places like Covenant House that they can go to?
Our street outreach team does an incredible job of spreading the word about the services that Covenant House offers, and Here in California, unfortunately, we do have a waiting list right now of about 3 months before a young person can get a bed here at Covenant House. But even while they're on the wait list, we want them to be checking in with us, telling us that they're safe, making sure that that they're still being able to access basic resources. So that's one thing that our Career Center does too, is kind of serve as a drop-in center. So if, like Laura was saying, if a young person comes to us and we don't have quite have a bed ready for them yet, they can still come to our campus, take a shower, change their clothes, get a hot meal, do all those sorts of things, so that we can support them while they're still experiencing homelessness, or at another program or something like that. But our street outreach team goes out anywhere between 5 to 7 days a week and does a really incredible job of building relationships with young people.
How many people do you help globally?
Across the Covenant House Federation, we serve 80,000 young people over the course of a year. And then here in California, it's 3,200 a year. That includes our campuses up in the Bay Area and Los Angeles.
So for the people that come that don't fit your age range or just need further help, do you have any partnerships in place that you direct people to different places that can fit their needs better? And I know with the wait list, having other places that you kind of work cohesively with to just ensure this problem is being tackled.
Yes, we do work with other shelters. We work with adult shelters. We also work with youth shelters that work with minors. Unfortunately, there are not enough beds in the city for the number of individuals, not just youth, just homeless people experiencing homelessness in the city. There's just not enough beds, which is really unfortunate. We do try to work with whoever walks into our doors and get them some kind of referral, even if they're not youth, even if they come in and they're 40 years old and they just need somewhere to go, we'll give them something to go from there. But more often, it's not guaranteed that they'll get a bed, and it's really difficult for us to turn someone away. But the fact of the matter is that there's just not enough beds, and the number of individuals experiencing homelessness is just growing. So we just need more beds, more resources, more programs, so that we don't have to turn anyone away. We don't have to, so that we can make sure that everybody has somewhere to sleep every single night. But yeah.
I was going to say, and even if that basic need of having a place to sleep that night, we still try to find other ways to provide for those basic needs. So you'll see any of the staff, somebody, I need some socks, or I need some underwear, I need some shoes, I need a pillow. We'll go in and grab it for them.
Yeah.
Hygiene kits, anything that we can provide for them, we do it. So if it's not shelter-wise, it's clothes, a conversation. That's what we do.
What do you all find so important or special about servicing this particular age range of 18 to 24?
So we know that it's really important to be working with this transitional age, because this is the time in their lives when they still have so much hope for what their futures could look like. And so if we can intervene and be the support system that they didn't have growing up, then we can make a radical change in what their future looks like. And the ultimate, our ultimate goal, what really drives us, is ending youth homelessness. And we know that by doing that, we're going to impact the overall levels of chronic homelessness in our city. So we're really passionate about working with this age group, because we can get them jobs in the industry that they're interested in. We can really work with them and help stabilize their mental health when they're 18 to 24, and make a radical change in what their future goals look like.
So while the Covenant House has locations in many cities across North America, there are many people who are in cities that don't have a Covenant House and maybe don't have youth homeless shelters specifically for young people. So is there any way that people in those towns can still help the youth homeless population? Is it just volunteering at your local homeless shelter? Are there specific things that people could donate that youth typically need when they're in the shelter?
Yeah, so Covenant House is an international organization, advocates for young people and advocates for policies that are going to support young people experiencing homelessness, even if they're not in a place where there's a Covenant House specifically. And another really great way that people can support Covenant House, even if you don't live in a city where there is one, is doing something called Sleep Out America. So there's a sleep out movement across the U.S. organized by Covenant House, and the goal of that is for everyone to raise both funds and awareness about the issue of youth homelessness. And so by signing up for Sleep Out America, you set up a fundraising page. We send you statistics, photos, stories, information that you can use to reach out to your network of family and friends that will raise funds for Covenant House, and those funds are going to go directly to supporting our young people. Because with an event like the Sleep Out, you know, we're asking that you raise these funds, raise this awareness, and then spend one night outside, not in any way pretending to be homeless, but as an act of solidarity and showing our young people that you're willing to be uncomfortable for a night to support them and to raise funds that are going to help them in their future. So that's one really important way that people, even if they're not connected to a local Covenant House site, can support youth experiencing homelessness.
You guys talk a lot about hope and how you're dealing with an age group that has so much hope for their future. So like, yes, there are difficulties, but what is it that inspires you to keep going? Like, what are those moments that you cling to and you say, like, this is making a difference, this is making somebody's life better? I think that's important too.
Yeah, we had like a certain airlines like had like a 3-week workshop here, and we invited 5 youth out, and they had the opportunity to work for this airline, and through that, you know, one of them got a job, right? And through all their struggles and their past issues, got a job at an airline. Now they could travel all over the world or locally, and that's a good success story. So, you know, that one person, like, wow, we did it. You know, it took a lot of work. It's like, or when somebody just gets an internship somewhere, like, oh my goodness, they got an internship or their first job.
Any of that.
There is nothing more exciting than like seeing a young person that normally dresses really casually, like seeing them like all dressed up in like a blazer, like walking across campus, like strutting their stuff, because they know like they were like so confident about their interview, or maybe they just like secured the job. Like, it's so inspiring to see our young people take pride in what they've been able to accomplish.
And there's this other thing that we see here is like within that first 30 days, if you're living on the street or whatever your situation is, you're couch surfing, you're in survival mode, right? So, you know, there's this, you know, when somebody's in survival mode, but then there's that point, whether it's 40 days in, 45, 60 days, that they just snap out of it, and you kind of start seeing a glimpse of who that person really is. That's another moment too, and they start having conversations with you, they start opening up. That's I always look for that in everybody. I'm like, okay, when is it gonna happen? It's just an amazing thing that keeps me going.
So during the holiday season, it's often a time when, like, I spend time with my family, and I can only imagine what it would be like to be homeless and maybe without a family to spend it with. So what do you all do at the Covenant House with your residents during the holiday season?
Oh, Anthony is Santa Claus.
We do a lot. We have different organizations that come in and do different giveaways. We have a bazaar where we get all the different donations from different companies, and all the youth get to pick out, like, I think 5 to 6 items. So we do that. But also, you know, it's a triggering thing too, right? So we have to make sure that we create a safe space for youth who don't want to be involved with the holidays. So we just may have a movie or take them out to a theme park so they can get their mind off of it. So we make sure that we're aware of everybody's feelings, but we do a lot of things. We decorate the cove. And also, you know, every holiday, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, we celebrate everything, which is amazing, because we got to open up everybody's to every different cultures.
And I mean, this is less of a question and more of a statement, but I think we all just want to thank you guys for doing such incredible and important work, and everybody who works in the Covenant House and every other organization. And I hope that people who watch this can really just take away the messages of learning compassion and really just employing it in your everyday lives, in your communities, and just trying to make a difference where it counts. Thank you guys.